All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Bunny Girl Senpai, Season 1, Episode 7.
So,
right.
Makinohara Shoko has
Your
appeared.
old crush,
Your old
Sakuta.
crush, except
She's a little girl.
she's a little girl.
And
she's supposed to be older than you.
Yeah.
2 years older than you.
Yeah.
What's going on?
What's the deal?
I thought we just resolved all of the puberty syndrome situations and
No,
whatnot.
we resolved all of the ones with Koga.
Yes. So what is going on here?
Yeah.
This seems mighty suspicious.
Mighty so, yes.
Yeah.
I think that this is just them moving through all the girls in the OP. Basically.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, me saying that was just basically a thing of like meta Sakata's perspective
Of course.
I mean, I'm dating Mai now, and then all of a sudden this shows up? What?
Yeah. It does seem like it could be a thing related to the fact that things are just going so well with Mai that it's just, something that.
Ooh, like one of Sakata's issues, maybe, of like.
No. It's something that correlates to her. Obviously, she's younger.
She's there.
What's the deal there? That's
Right.
the very obvious problem. But then, like, why are these problems constantly coming up?
Sure.
Is that they have to do with things that could interfere with Mai and Sakuta's relationship in some way. But we'll have to wait and see. So,
We will.
Y'all, without further ado, let's get into this. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, then come back here for the discussion. Okay, so we've got
A bit more going on.
a bit more going on. I
yeah.
am very much liking the setup of this one more than the previous one
Me too.
with Koga.
Yes,
So first things first, Makinohara Shoko, we're just helping her out and just providing a place for her to hang out.
But she does not take the whole focus of the episode.
Yeah.
In fact, it almost
she's
seems like.
barely at all the focus.
Yep.
So second, we get basically this crew of girls hanging out at Sakuta's place, and a couple of them even staying over for a night or however.
For various reasons or other.
Yeah, exactly. I like the reason as for all of this being set up,
Yep.
and then we get hit with the Is it Futaba or Futaba?
Futaba, I think.
Okay, because I hear a little bit almost when they're saying it's really quick. It's like Futaba. It's not.
Yeah, I think it's.
I wouldn't say that ta and ta.
Well,
like,
'cause
doesn't make sense. So I just
So I know, if it was just if the ba was removed at the end, then it would be futa. So I believe
Okay.
it would be It would just be futaba.
All right.
But yeah, I'm not sure.
Anyway, I just wanted to ask. The next thing that I thought was kind of just weird that they would bring up with this here is that they showed in the very beginning just with her bit of taking selfies in the bathroom.
Yes. Something's going on.
Yeah.
And that's something that I really appreciate about this arc, as opposed to say the Koga arc, because with and certainly for when I watched this first time, there was that bit of like the saltiness of like, wait, no, spend more time with Mai and everything, because their interactions are so good, right?
Right.
And then with Koga, it was like, okay, here's this new character, and just having it focus on her, I feel like it was a bit harder for her to sort of carry the arc,
Okay.
Whereas in this situation, it's a lot more complicated, right? We've got the whole thing with Makinohara Shoko, which is what we're expecting it to be, but then also at the same time, there's the stuff with Futaba, and then there's the fact that there's two of them, which means that there's more potential interactions and things that can happen there. And then there's the fact that like there's a decent amount of hanging out with Mai during this.
Yeah.
And then there's also even that whole thing of, because Mai's staying over at his house, and then her cell phone rings for that 1 second, and then all of a sudden his sister starts to freak out, right? Like, there's just...
It feels like all the characters that are... It feels like the whole cast is somewhat involved.
Right, yeah. And that's something that I really love about how this arc handles things, for just making it be a bit more like...
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, but the weird thing is that they started off with the follow-up of the cliffhanger of the previous episode, which has very little initially to do with what they do in this episode, because this episode was set up for a Futaba-focused arc.
Yeah.
So, okay. First things first, the idea of doppelgangers.
Yes.
If we just roll the dice on this one, it's very likely that there are people out there that look very similar to you.
Sure.
Just very, very likely. There's a lot of people out there.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I have had multiple experiences with this one in the uncanny valley kind of moment where I see someone that I think is,
another person,
a friend of mine or something. And usually the reason why you think it's that person is because that person is someone that you really care about.
Sure.
So when you get the slightest inkling,
you're like, oh, is that them? Oh,
you,
wait, no,
you
it's
pattern
not.
match associate when it's really not a perfect perception. You just saw someone that had a similar hairstyle and you were thinking about them 5 minutes ago or something, so that they appear. I have had multiple times, though, where people have been like, Caleb, you look very similar to so-and-so. And then, funnily enough, I find who this person is, and I find that they live in, like, the country where my, 5 generations or 7 generations back ancestors, were from. So it's like this thing of where it might have nothing to do with them be looking exactly the same or something, but it is a thing of where it's like, no, you guys are, if we go back to your genealogical
very
tracks,
distantly related, or
you guys are like, there's have to go way back in time before we can get to the point where
genes that managed to get passed along through the years.
Exactly. So that's the kind of thing where it's like, oh, that's cool. But in this setup here, we have a full blown. She looks very similar.
Yep.
They're basically identical.
Right. The only thing that seems to be different is how they portray themselves, right?
Yes.
Like the hairstyles, the glasses versus the contacts and things like that.
Yeah.
And then the whole idea of like, oh, okay, yeah, and it does seem like there's some reasoning behind it of, okay, Futaba, specifically wearing contacts when she goes to like watch Kunumi's game, right? But then at the same time not like really cheering like the rest of the girls would do, oh, way to go. Right. Yeah.
And we now found out why she likes him. There was a point when she was really not doing well, and he just said something at the right time.
Yep.
Now, Mai brought that up with, hey, if you take the initiative at the right time, place, mood, and all that, a miss is something that makes a lot of sense to have happen then.
And even if it's not right now, well, hey,
I'll let you try over and over and over again.
You can keep practicing. Yeah.
So is that what she's doing? She just wants more iterations of herself to practice?
I like it.
She just wants more opportunities to try and keep putting herself into situations where he could end up actually seeing her.
Not just opportunities for her to be able to maybe figure it out, but also for him to have that chance encounter where just at the right time she says something, does something, whatever, and there you go. I like that. I like that.
I don't know. That makes sense in a couple ways, but as of right now, I don't see any glaringly obvious hints towards what this is pointing at. And I think if anything, this is a good setup for maybe like a 3 episode like full like mini arc where the second one we get a little bit of a picture.
Yeah.
And at the end they give us a little bit of a, oh, is this it? But then the third one is where we actually get the full resolution to it, because this is one where I feel like the show might be even a little bit turning on its head by having the character who's been the stable exposition character be like, no, she's got issues too. I feel like that's been built up really well.
Yes, the whole thing of basically her being underappreciated and the like, and then also her having the internal conflict of, I like this boy, but he has a girlfriend. What do I do about that?
Right.
And like if the puberty syndrome stuff were to stem from things that could be a contributing factor, and because like the whole idea, like previously with Koga, we got the whole thing of time loops, and then before that we got the thing with Mai with being noticed by people, right? And I don't know, there's just something that I like about the idea of a split, like of a double, like whether it's talking about like the, dealing with that internal part of yourself that you haven't fully accepted or faced or whatever. like, I don't know, it's something that feels like it's very, very rich for interpretation as far as the stuff that's going on within the character, while at the same time not needing to be something that requires like to be like spelled out or have emphatic like description of what it is, right? Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Are there any particular things that you get from the whole idea of it being a double specifically, or like?
No, I get more on the idea that it's something where there's two consciousnesses, or her consciousness is split in observing itself. So it's a
so like self-conscious, like
it's very it's very much something that feels like she's almost I don't know, weirdly like
repressing, or
no like it's like something folding in on itself. So like in a couple ways it feels like a weird offshoot Hanakawa kind of situation.
Yeah, okay. I like that.
Like,
and that also kind of goes with her I don't know. If we use Hanakawa as an example, you know, different shows, different things and all that stuff, but it's
really only in just the double aspect.
Well,
almost nothing about the personality in a lot of ways, I would say.
Totally, but if we so both are the sort of smart, quiet characters that seem to have everything figured out, and then turns out that they don't, and then there's this double.
Oh, but then, I never thought she had things figured out, because she was always alone, and she was pining after a boy that did not care to notice her at all.
Great point. Yeah,
and I more just felt sorry for Futaba.
Yeah, but then we also have the whole thing of the glasses that come off, but then also the secondary hidden Twitter account or whatever, where she feels at the very least more confident and stuff, and you know, posts the more risque photos and things like that, right? You know, things that people probably wouldn't think about her in general, especially not when she's got a lab coat and glasses on and is holed up in the science lab.
Did you feel like, though, it was weird that she never put her full face, though, in the images?
Oh.
She didn't put actually anything above here. So it's like saying, I'm doing this also anonymously.
Right, even though people could figure out that it's her.
Yeah, Kunami's girlfriend
is like, hey, what the hell?
Knew,
like,
she's your friend, right? Mm-hmm. Can you, like, see what's going on with her?
Right. I don't want my boyfriend to see these pictures of Suede.
Yeah, because, I mean, she knows that Futaba likes. Futaba likes Kunami.
Yeah, probably. I mean, there's a good likelihood. Yeah.
Yeah, she probably has seen her doing things that would make her feel that way.
And she's very territorial of Kunami in general.
Yeah, she's a bit, you know, possessive.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, Kunami is a potato, so it's not like
he might need someone to actually.
Yeah, it's not like he's immune to just stuff like that in general, but again, it's not like she's sending these to Kunami.
Right, she's just posting them in public.
Yeah, also, just in general, social media doesn't, like, I mean, maybe the show is just simplifying things for the sake of the story, but social media doesn't work like that. Just because someone posts a thing on a secret account doesn't mean that Kunami is going to see it.
No, but I get the feeling there will be some pretty enthusiastic retweeters, you know, for that.
Who cares? Like, how would they know that? Yeah, that's the one part that I'm hoping doesn't go that way. That this turns into a thing of where it's like, everyone at the school finds out, because if she has a secret account, well,
I mean, rumors in high school spread like wildfire.
Totally, but yeah, so just to put it in perspective here, if someone like one of us was to make a random Instagram account here and just start posting shit of us in like semi like seductive poses, the amount of time it would take to go back to our families or our circles in general is infinitely long.
Definitely. But
that is not how social media just works.
Right,
you know?
But within something like a high school,
But why is social media suddenly break the rules that there's like a high school? Like,
because interest.
No, I know.
You got a bunch of horny people.
Is this a high school social media? I don't think you're understanding what my thing is.
But if the people that actually have her
you said that it was a secret account though.
Yeah, secret account. I mean, but
so then why would any of them be following her?
Well, the whole point of a secret account is that you show it to some people but not others, right?
Oh, so she's intentionally given it out, is what you're saying?
I mean, the girlfriend found it, so
I guess that's true.
So somehow it was making the rounds,
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
all right. I mean, okay. I'll yeah. I got you.
I've never had a secret account for like social media and stuff, but I can imagine that if you did have to, the whole point would be that, it's I have my account that like my family and, my grandma can see, right? And then I have the one that they can't, right?
Yeah, I got you. It's for the sake of the plot. So I get it. Okay. Then if she found it, then she is intentionally sharing it with the school for the sake of it to be observed.
At least some people.
Yeah. Now, what problems will that cause? We have just yet to see. So I think that a lot of this is just foundational stuff that was built up really well with the idea that Futaba is the character that everyone's kind of skipped over.
Right.
And now...
And in fact, she doesn't even get her own arc.
She's kind of demanding that the arc be about her in a lot of ways.
That's a fun other way to think about it, because that was one of the other things that I always thought was funny about Hanakawa in Bake is that she technically shared her arc with Shinobu, right?
Yeah.
So the idea that it's like, wait, that
is kind of true. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And a lot of the things that were quote unquote insufferable about Hanakawa are the things that maybe could be said that are a little bit insufferable about Futaba here
Possibly.
in this situation. And then this puberty syndrome episode here is part of the excuse for the behaviors. Because one of the other things that's interesting about social media is that the pictures could have been taken at any time.
Sure.
But they could be posted also at any time.
Yep.
So this could have nothing to do also with her, her puberty syndrome thing as well.
Oh, possibly. Well, and also just the idea that like with social media, because kind of in a similar situation with like Koga's friends and things like that, it's very much a constructed persona that you put out there for the world to see. Right?
Oh, sure.
It's usually it's where you
true.
can be sort of like your best self or whatever. Let people see the good sides of you, but not the things that you don't want them to see. Right? You don't show them the bad pictures. Right?
Yeah.
That is that's something that I personally feel like is rather curious with regards to the whole idea of puberty syndrome, and then the characters having these parts of themselves that they maybe aren't accepting or don't fully understand or whatever. And then even with Futaba, when Sakata asked her do you know what the cause might be, and she's like, no idea, and she said that a couple times, but then the other one's like, why would you believe that lie? Like it's obviously not the case.
Yeah, so I think it is that the fake is the one that would
be more honest.
Well, would be more honest, probably because they want help.
Sure.
And thus the deal here is that in the logical sense, the reason why Futaba needs help is because she's not able to solve the problem herself. Because the first step with solving a problem is knowing that you have a problem. Acknowledging it. So the fake is the one that says, "Oh, I absolutely know what the problem is."
And this is the side of Futaba that she doesn't want to acknowledge.
Exactly.
So even when this other side comes up, it takes the spotlight. It does the Twitter account and all of that stuff.
Attention.
And then she goes and hides, which is kind of what she's been doing this whole time.
I'm blameless. I didn't do anything.
I hide in the club room and the science room and things like that, and then, but now because she's taken over that part of my life, I hide in internet cafes and things like that.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. There's some interesting things they could go into with the idea of her being a victim of herself. And I would love to see that explored if they wanted to have a really hard one-on-one conversation between her and Sakuta. I could see that being something where they could tie it back in a way of where there is another character in this story that was very much a victim of her environment kind of coming at her.
Kaida,
yeah.
Yeah.
But I would want them to be very 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 sensitive with this kind of subject matter because the mechanics of the pseudoscience
quantum teleportation
stuff.
Bullshit.
Yeah, kind of go. Yeah,
okay,
there's
whatever.
a way it can work,
right?
And that's not the part that interests me really in the story.
It's how it affects the characters.
Yeah. So in this bit here, I feel like we've been now told maybe who the fake is, if that makes sense. And it's not about any of them being the fake. It's just that the one that's supposed to help her solve her own problem is the one that is aware, and the one that is the closest to the original is basically just either
sort of
playing it
down.
off as if like, oh, there's I don't know about any
Yeah,
problem,
what are you talking about?
or is genuinely just unaware. And that's what needs to be resolved, is that the two parts need to come together, observe each other, point and point back, and
yeah,
and
that is
it'll all work out.
That is one of the things that I kind of like about how this is set up. Like, bullshit explanations aside, quantum teleportation and whatnot.
Yeah, they're there to serve a means to the end, so we can move along and get with the story. Yeah.
But I love the idea that Futaba's like, I haven't actually ever seen this doppelganger, but I know I can see the effects of what they've done, so I know that they exist, but I haven't actually perceived them, right?
Yeah,
so it's like that.
It feels a little bit.
That's fun because.
Well, right, but also then she's like, just knowing that she's at my home. I'm like, how do you know she's at your home?
Right. Yeah, it's like it
how
feels
do
very
you
much
know
like
that?
a head in the dirt, like not looking at the problem. you
Right,
know?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like this arc is definitely one of the ones where I like the mechanics of the problem and the situation a lot.
Yeah.
But
and there's a cool angle of this that could be explored, and I don't know if this is something that they'll do via Sakuta, but a lot of the interactions that she's had with Sakuta are just that she's annoyed.
Sure.
And she's very annoyed by Sakuta. He kind of comes in, demands her attention.
Right.
She gives it to him.
He doesn't really thank her much
give
or
much
like,
gratitude for it.
Yeah.
And then one time in this episode where we're like, oh, he kind of thanks her, it's under his breath once she's left.
Yep.
And I'm like,
dude,
I feel like that's part of the problem here. Just a little bit. That her character is one that goes unappreciated.
Right.
So now she's maybe starting to strike out.
To really hard try and make it so that people appreciate her in whatever form she can get.
Yeah, or appreciate the old her, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what the way they can do that is.
Right, because it gets wonky with doubles.
Yeah, and then of course it's the question of, is there even a double? Is this...
Right. That is the thing that I really appreciate that they did to set up this situation is the whole thing of, oh, we see her going in, we do the natural thing of, I'll call her, you know, and then we'll figure out where she is. Wait, but the voice isn't coming from here, and then we see her walking by while I'm talking to her on the phone. It's like,
right, yeah.
Okay, no, there is definitely something screwy going on.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't really have anything else other than to say, other than I'm mysteriously intrigued, and I like the format for setting this up with having all these characters involved.
All these different.
So much so, despite it being originally feeling like I was set up for something with
completely
Shoko.
Different. Yeah.
And she was also in a little bit of a flashback there.
Yep.
In the beginning of the episode as well.
Right, so we can know for sure that not only is she has she not aged or anything, but it seems like she's gotten younger because she was in high school when he first saw her.
Yeah.
And now, yeah.
It'll be interesting. But y'all, okay, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
We stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.